Hi guys, please like, share and subscribe and contact this number if you want lectures related to any CM, CS or CB subjects. Thank you.
Great. All right. So, thank you everyone for joining on a Sunday evening or morning, whatever time zone you're in. And I'm sorry for taking away a part of your weekend. I know most of you are working and weekends are precious, but yeah, I think this needed to be discussed. So, yeah, mainly we are going to be focusing our discussion around the preparation strategy for the April 2022 exam, and then we'll also be outlining on what are the usual mistakes that we've been noticing that students have been making in the past attempts, what not to do particularly, what to do, how to prepare, and then what are the additional services or support that we'll be providing in order to help your strategy for April 2022. Okay, so without further ado, I'll start talking about the exam preparation strategy. Now, in terms of exam preparation strategy, it's fairly straightforward. It is what I've always recommended people, right? When some of you have even asked me, this is what I recommend, and it hasn't changed much, right? So let me go over that. The first thing is to go through the paper A video lectures, cover a chapter. Let's say you're doing one chapter, so watch the video lectures of that chapter. Then go to the combined material pack, skim through it, solve the questions at the back of the material, right? Once you're done with this, so you have your concepts clear and you've practiced some of the questions, and if you're stuck anywhere, you can obviously reach out to me, or I would really urge send the doubts on the groups, because we make these groups every time, but they've not been very active. So try to ask all of the doubts on the groups and help each other, right? You can help each other on the group. That ensures peer learning, and you also have an idea of how others are doing, what are your areas where you really need to work, and peer learning has in general a lot of benefits. So yeah, do these two things: watch the lectures, skim through the combined material pack, solve the questions at the back of the material. Next is, once you're done with a certain number of chapters, so like 4 or 5 chapters, what you need to do is you need to jump to the revision notes. Now, revision notes are divided into booklets, as most of you know, and there are these really nice summary of chapters which are given at the back of each of the revision notes booklet. They are called as fact sheets. So fact sheets basically contain all the formulas and all the concepts relating to 4 or 5 chapters, whatever number of chapters that revision note booklet pertains to. So you should revise it using that. These fact sheets are also very useful in if you want to revise the concepts just before the exam. But I would urge that you go through them at this point after doing the combined material pack, and then jump into the exam questions in the revision notes. So this is the most important part from an exam point of view. If you are solving the revision notes fully, okay, which contains basically past 20 attempt exam questions and solutions, a majority of your preparation is done, right? You have actually done what IFOA has asked in the past years, right? Although there have been some pattern changes, but this gives you a really good hold of the concepts and what is asked in the exam. Someone else is here. Let me admit them. Okay, Johnson is here. All right. So I was just talking about the strategy. So next thing you need to do is solve the revision notes, and particularly the past exam questions in the revision notes, right? I would say do 50% of them on paper and do the balance 50% on Microsoft Word, so that you are able to make that transition, because I know most of you are comfortable with writing answers on a paper, but some of you struggle with Microsoft Word, and ultimately the exam is going to be on Microsoft Word, and we have seen that in past diets people have faced a challenge with this. So I would say do a 50-50 breakup on this, and then finally, once you're done with all of these things for a given unit, what you can do is you can watch the paper B lectures, right, relating to that unit. And once you're done with this, and you do this for all the chapters in the curriculum, what you can do is you can solve the Y assignments, which are basically paper B questions with solutions that are available, okay? and okay, someone else is here, right? And finally, once you have solved the Y assignments, what you can do is under exam conditions, you can solve the papers from 2018 to 2021 because these are not covered by the revision notes. And this will also give you an idea of the latest exam pattern, how it has changed slightly, I would say. And you should solve at least 3 or 4 of these under exam conditions. So that you know how to manage time, how to type things out, and what kind of an exam pressure you will be facing in the actual exam. So take out 3 hour 15 minutes, solve paper A, then take out 1 hour 45 minutes, solve paper B. So this is the general preparation strategy that I recommend. Any questions here?
Hi Romit.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to emphasize on the thing you said that practice 50% on paper and 50% on Word. So what do you recommend? Which chapter should we focus on Word? Like while doing the revision notes, which chapters we should practice on Word only? So because I'm always confused in that how should I practice like on paper and how much in Word?
That's a good question. See, okay, let's just think about it. See, there are some chapters which are particularly asked more on R programming. Okay, so for example, the questions where you have, those big transition matrix and you have to do matrix multiplication and all of those things. They usually tend to ask it in paper B only. What is the reason for that? The reason is that if they ask it in paper A, you can easily use R programming or Excel to multiply matrices and then just paste it on Word and save a lot of time, right? So that is basically there is a shortcut in paper B. So those kind of questions are more likely to come on paper B. Everything else, I would say all the revision notes booklets, okay, whatever questions, whatever chapter you're solving, I would say do 50% of it on paper and do 50% of it on Microsoft Word. If you feel that there are a certain concepts which are very difficult to type out on Microsoft Word, you can reach out to me. You can consult me whether this can be asked on Microsoft Word or not. Off the top of my head, I particularly feel that matrix multiplication and all of those things get really tricky with Microsoft Word. So that usually won't be asked in the paper A, but it can be, right? It's a sort of an estimate, right? It cannot be 100% accurate because there have been papers like very initially in 2019 when they started off with this curriculum. I think they asked a Markov chain multiplication, matrix multiplication question in paper A. So there's no fixed pattern to it, but over time we have seen that whatever can be done very easily on R as compared to paper A, they have started asking it on R because they don't want you to game the exam in the sense that you use Excel or R and solve paper A questions and just copy and paste, right? So that just gives you an unfair advantage which they don't want. So any question which involves a lot of typing, like lot of complex typing, matrix algebra, and when I say matrix algebra, I mean multiplying matrices, not like just not just getting the distribution of between states. That kind of questions you can solve on paper A as well. So yeah, just take your call there and you can consult me, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
But apart from that, I would say mentally be prepared for the worst case scenario. Anything can be asked on Microsoft Word. So you should be prepared for that.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah. So when I say 50-50, I mean for each revision note booklet, what you do is first 10 year of papers you do with, pen and paper. And then next 10 years, first 10 attempts, 5 years you do on paper, and then next 5 attempts you do, next 5 years, that is 10 attempts you do on Microsoft Word. Any other questions? I guess not. Okay. And we can also do like one session, I feel, on typing on Microsoft Word. Like at some point in the middle of the preparation, maybe February mid, we can do one session on this and talk about like what can really help with typing on Microsoft Word. Right. So yeah, that we can think about. Next is the things that students have been ignoring. generally been ignoring, not all of them, but few of them, over the past couple of attempts, and that has really made the difference between passing and just missing the being able to pass by 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 marks, right? It's usually not the preparation. What it is the Microsoft Word typing practice that is lacking for a lot of students, and they're not able to complete the exam. And the second one is paper B. I feel that students are still living in the nostalgia of 2018, where we used to have like written exams. We used to like write the exams out by hand, and that is why they're not taking paper B seriously. But it's 30% of the mark, and I know students who didn't do as well on paper A, but just passed it based on paper B. So paper B is very important, right? On the exam day, see the advantage of having the exam in 2 parts is also that sometimes it can be a bad day for you on the exam day, or you might not have a good time in the exam, you're not feeling well, or anything can happen, right? IFO is giving you 2 chances. Even if you don't do as well on paper A, you should try to do well on paper A, but just in case you're not able to do as well, you have a second chance in paper B, right? And if you do paper B well, you get that full 30 there, that can make up a lot for your passing mark. And paper B is very easy in terms of, there is no calculation that you can get wrong. There's no scope for silly mistakes. It's just a concept. It's just your problem solving abilities, right? If you're able to solve the problem, you get full marks, right? So that is the advantage of paper B. So don't take it lightly. Do a lot of practice for R. I would say do the PBOR and the Y assignments. And now we have like 4 or 5 attempts of papers as well, past papers. So solve all of those things. When you do all of that, I think you'll have a good preparation. And like you can also do like outside courses for R, because now R has started being used a lot in the industry. I would say to make your concepts even more clear, you can do some extra machine learning courses, and all of those courses which are industry relevant. You can go for Coursera, you can go for Data Camp, and all of those things. Do it in your leisure time if you have some time, right? So yeah, that is what I would say. Like R is very important going forward from an exam point of view and from an industry point of view. Okay, let me move on. Did you have any questions here?
Hi, Romit.
Hi.
I have a small doubt. Yeah, I was just wondering, do you know what's the pass mark for the Indian exam? I mean, CS2.
It's 50.
I mean, it's 50.
50.
So basically, if say, somebody gets 60 on paper A and 30 on paper B, you would be, good to pass, right? 60 into 0.7, 42 plus 30 into 0.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. You'll
Yeah.
That will be a 51, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
will pass.
Okay,
But
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing to mention, I'm not sure about this, but in India there is maybe a requirement that you need to pass individually in both paper A and paper B.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that was
please
there
check
at
that.
some point. I am not sure if it is there still. Just check on that. I can also check on that. So with II, they keep on changing the rules. They've been very unstable about these things. Initially, I remember it correctly that there was an individual pass mark requirement as well, and then there was an overall as well. But I don't know if they've relaxed it now or not. Okay, but overall is 50, and they've made it fixed for all papers.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
check on the individual ones. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. What else? That's it. Okay. So what is the additional support from our side that we'll be providing for April 2022? I'm planning to take live doubt sessions on machine learning and Markov jump processes. Markov jump processes, I feel that I've covered the theory in the lectures and everything, but sometimes it's not enough to relate it to the questions. Markov chains, I've covered a lot of past exam questions. Markov jump processes, I'll take a live doubt session. And you guys try to attempt the questions first from the revision notes and the back of the material and all the sources that you have. You send a list to me. I'll take a doubt session where I'll solve all of those questions and try to relate it to the concepts that we have for Markov jump processes, right? So that is one thing I want to do. And also for machine learning, I feel that we can do an extra sort of session for this chapter. what is also more important from machine learning point of view is that now we have some past exam questions for machine learning that have featured in the last few attempts, and same for copulas in extreme value theory. I'll be adding some questions on these chapters into our videos. Okay, so that will just help you like understand how to approach these questions. There are some new sections which have been added, some minor sections on machine learning which have been added in the 2022 upgrade material from IFOA's side, right? So those sections I'll add. Nothing major there, but whatever minor parts are there, I'll add them. Apart from that, the last two things, that is something Paras will be helping with. Paras is here on the call, and I'll just discuss what we are planning to do, and then Paras, please introduce yourself to the students and yeah, just talk to them for 2 minutes, right? So the first thing is we'll be tracking student progress regularly. So Paras will be reaching out to you, about how your exam prep is going, what are the gaps, like how you're doing with respect to other students, and what are the areas you can really push forward on in order to pass the exam in April 2022. Okay, and finally, we'll be conducting some mock tests. The schedule for mock tests is on the next page. But before that, Paras, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Paras Jain, and so I have cleared 4 exams from IFOA, which are like CS1, CS2, and CM1 and CM2. And Romit sir and I was thinking like there should be some improvement in the teaching style and all of that stuff. So yeah, about like the tracking student progress, like I was thinking I can take your like doubts or maybe your progress weekly or maybe like in 2 weeks. So like I can get the idea like how well are you doing, like and all of that stuff. And about mock test, like we said like 3 mock tests, right? We agreed on 3 mock tests, right, Roman?
Yeah, we are doing 5 now. So we'll be doing 3 individual ones, and then we can do 2 for whole syllabus. But we can discuss this. I've added tentative dates. We can see what is required, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that, Paras. I'll talk about the mock tests, and yeah, we can see these are the tentative mock test dates, but this plan can change a bit, right? So these are the dates, guys. Please take note of them. Click a screenshot. I will send these on the group as well. So we have like the first one, which is on stochastic processes and Markov processes. That's on 22nd and 23rd January. Then 12th and 13th February, we are planning to do survival models, graduation and time series. 5th and 6th March, we are planning to do loss distribution, reinsurance and machine learning. And then 19th, 20th March and 3rd and 2nd and 3rd April, we can do whole syllabus. Now, what we can do eventually is that maybe not do 5 and just do 4 or something, but that just depends on how you guys are performing and how much bandwidth we have on our side. But this is like the tentative schedule of the maximum number of mock tests that are going to happen, right? And then you have your exams on 19th and 20th April. So yeah, this is the plan for mock tests. Right. So that is all I had to discuss, and feel free to add anything you want to, Paras, and then we can take questions from the students.
No, I don't have like anything to add, but like the point that students are not preparing enough with the typing part, that like that is so true. So yeah.
Yeah. So we will try to work on that. We will see if we can provide some sort of support on the typing as well, in terms of shortcuts, in terms of how to make it fast. But ultimately, see, like you can look up the shortcut for typing out Greek symbols, and I can share that with you. But apart from that, in terms of CS2, it's mostly like practice that helps. There is no special technique for typing out questions. For CM1, maybe I've added like 5 or 6 videos on how to type things out, because that is very specific to CM1. There are a lot of annuity and assurance functions and all of those things. But CS2, there's nothing like that, right? So it's just about practice here, right? And that's why we don't even have a video on how to type out things. But sure, like if that helps, we can obviously add that. Right. So yeah, please guys, whatever questions you have, shoot.
Hello, hi, Romit sir. So this is my second attempt for CS2 and I couldn't clear the last attempt by like 4 marks. And I think the main thing was the paper was lengthy and I didn't prepare much on the typing part. And I was not really 100% confident with some of the concepts of time series and Markov. And I think that made part me like, confusing and you are not 100% confident of how to answer this question.
Okay.
So I was wondering now I'm started to prepare again. And my current strategy is to, go to the topics which are less easier, like do Markov chain and time series later, but focus on other concepts and start solving the questions again, complete the revision notes. So just wondering if, how should I proceed with reappearing or re-preparation of the exam? What is the best order of doing the chapters? I'm planning to go for easier topics first and then time series and then last thing is Markov. But
Okay.
what would you recommend?
See, I would say like if there were topics that you had struggled with earlier, I would say just focus a lot on them to begin with, right? You can have that revision later, and we are also conducting mock tests, so you can appear for specific mock tests, right? So I would say get done with Markovs and time series very fast, and we can have those one-on-one sessions where we can talk about like what part of it you are not able to understand or what you're not 100% clear with. Markov chains, I'm sure there would not be an issue since like it was covered in a lot of detail. Markov jump processes, definitely we'll have that one-on-one session, so that will really help you. So I would say like whatever is weak, do that first, because everything else I think it can be done very, very fast. So what you can do is there can be two ways to go about it. If you want to do the easy topics first, then what you can do is you can do a quick like revision from your own notes or from the fact sheets and jump into the questions directly. And wherever you're getting stuck, you can watch the videos. Okay, that is something you can do, right? And then appear for the mock tests and so that your concepts are clear. This you can do for the easy topics. For the tricky topics, I would say watch the videos and then go over the revision notes properly, and then just like prepare a lot on them, and wherever there are gaps or doubts, you reach out to me. So you can take like, or either of the things can be taken up first, but I think the difficult part should be, or the part you struggled with the last time should be taken up first, so that you have a lot of time with it.
Okay, got it. One more question I had. So how do I watch the videos? So I usually watch the videos and I watch like 10 minutes, and once you teach a particular concept, I understand it, then I put down the notes. You have any questions, so I solve them, and I took out the notes very well. And if you're solving a question, I just solve it on a rough sheet or something.
Yeah.
But is that the ideal way, or is there any
No, that's
better or
fine. That's fine.
yeah?
If you have the notes made, now I don't think you need to watch the videos of all the chapters again. You can revise
Yes.
from your notes, and wherever you're struggling, you can watch those videos again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And if you think that there is any part like of the videos which you couldn't understand and we can do like improvements on, you can just flag that straight up, and then we can change those videos or add more videos there and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. Thanks. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. What else, guys?
By the way, how many of you are preparing for CS2 for the first time?
I am preparing for CS2 for the first time.
Okay, I'm just gonna write your name.
First time for me as well.
Can you just say your names, guys?
Anshul Goyal.
Anshul Goyal, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who was the other one?
Divya, yeah.
Divya.
Divya. Right.
I just wanted to ask, do you recommend giving CB1 along with CS2 both for the first time?
What is your background?
I've just cleared 2 papers. September was my first setting and I'm doing bachelor's in science statistics.
Okay. And you didn't have commerce at +2 level?
No.
You didn't have commerce at +2 level. So, okay. And how much time do you have? Like, is college very hectic?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Then I think
No.
you can. If like you can give like 5 or 6 hours a day, I think
Yeah.
it's easily doable. and try to give more as well. Just study the concepts well. I think you should be good. You have like so the exam date is 19 20th April, right? So you have January, February, March, April. You have 4 months, right? 4 months is a
Yeah.
lot of time. 2 subjects you can do. Are you done with CB2 though?
Yeah, CB2 is done.
Then I think it's fine. Get done with the CM, CS, and CB before college ends. That really helps people. Because
Yes.
recently also I was talking to some students, and I've always been telling them that get done with your exams while you're in college. That is very easy. Once job starts, and I know everyone else on this call who's working can vouch for it. Studying for exams like CS2 and CM2 becomes difficult, right? Because these are mathematical and quantitative exam, and professionally they might not be very relatable, right? In college they are more relatable, and you can just give more time. And in terms of jobs, like they expect you to give like 8 to 10 hours a day for all 5 of your days, and I'm sure for some of the people here it will be more than that as well, more than 8 to 10 hours. So then to keep motivated and to write these quantitatively heavy exams is really tough. So I would say get done with CS2 and CM2 as fast as you can.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, what else, guys? That's it. All right then. If no one has any other questions, you can drop off. And if you want to talk to me personally, you have any questions you want to ask personally, you want to reach out to Paras, you have any feedback to give on the videos, be very honest with that first of all. And yeah, you can reach out. That's not a problem. My request to everyone is whatever, see, the point is whenever you get a doubt, please ask it. Okay, don't keep the doubt with yourself. I wouldn't see it's a remote setting, right? And I'm not teaching you in a class, right? So I wouldn't know when you have a doubt without you flagging it, right? I know it's tough. I know some of you are introverts, and it gets tough to ask doubts and all of that. I completely understand and relate to it, but it will only help you. Okay, try that, and I try to be as supportive with doubts as possible. So ask them, and ask them on the group. There are a lot of people here who have prepared for the exam earlier as well, and their concepts for a lot of topics are fine, right? So they can help you with your doubts, and that will also help like them if they're and help their confidence, right? Paras has been studying with me like for all the subjects, CS1, CS2, CM1, CM2. He's done all of them with me, right? And this is something Paras used to do. He used to solve everyone's doubts, right? And it really used to boost his confidence as well. So yeah, I mean, I would say please ask doubts, please help each other. Like do sort of peer, I think peer learning really helps people. So that would be my one advice. Yeah.
Romit, are we going to have like a proper doubt discussion weekly on a weekly basis, or whenever everyone have some doubt they can reach out, or are you guys going to plan some specific date
See.
for doubt session?
Good question. See, last time I tried like sort of a couple of weeks for specific topics, and a lot of people did not join, and I didn't know if you guys wanted that or not. I would like that suggestion to come from your side. What helps? Weekly doubt sessions on topics, or what I was thinking is that like most topics are straightforward. It's only some topics which are really challenging, like Markov jump processes, like machine learning, like some other topics which people usually struggle with. So for those specific topics, what I can do is I can conduct those doubt sessions, right, where people usually struggle. For other straightforward topics, I would say send your doubts on the group, connect with Paras, do a one-on-one with Paras, do a one-on-one with me, okay, and get those doubts resolved that way. That would be my advice. But if you think there should be doubt sessions for other topics as well, you tell me which topics do you want it for.
Okay, sure, Amit.
Yeah,
Like once
just
I
message on the
start
group.
getting,
Yeah.
yeah. So once I start getting like in touch with studying more, I can reach out because due to work, it was really difficult to study in the last 6 months. But now I have some different plans. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's see. We'll let you know in Paris.
I understand. Now we are keeping mock sessions
Yeah.
as well, guys. So anchor your preparation around that. So the dates I showed, what you can really try. Am I still sharing my screen? I don't think so. Okay, let me reshare. See, what you can really do is anchor your preparation around these mock tests. So, like try to get done with stochastic processes and Markov jump processes by January 22nd and 23. You can always proceed beyond that as well. But yeah, get this done, like fully get this done by 22nd, 23rd January. Get survival models graduation time series done by 12th and 13th February, right? So this will really anchor your preparation. So that is how you can go about it. And in the interim, like before these tests, what we can do is we can have doubt sessions related to these topics itself. So we can have 3 doubt sessions. One I can have like the weekend before 22nd, 23rd January. I can have one on the weekend before 12th and 13th February, and then when we can have one on the weekend before 5th and 6th March. That's how we can do it.
Yes, that works.
Okay. What else?
One question I had, it's not relevant to me, but like in general question, how much time does it uh, one can anticipate to be required for to complete Markov, to complete like time series and to complete other topics like so that the person can plan itself. I know I'm giving for second time, so it will be vary by me. Like it will be different for me, but yeah, in general, how much time?
See, it depends from person to person, to be honest, Arpit. As a rule of thumb, I suggest that CS2 as a subject, both the parts, take around 250 to 300 hours of preparation if you are doing it really, really well, right? But I know people who have done it in 150 hours or lesser as well, right? So that depends from person to person, what your background is, how your quants is, right? So that is there. But see, I feel that if you're talking about Markov, particularly the Markov unit, and you're working, I think stochastic process in Markov, you should be able to do it in 3 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. Okay. And then time series, I think it can take 2 weeks for you to do time series, or again 3 weeks. Markov, you can take 3 to 4 weeks, and time series, you can take like 2 weeks. Yeah. So together, both of them can be done. Like since you were struggling with them, I think together both of them can be done in 4 or 5 weeks. And they are the
Okay,
challenging
good.
topics, and other topics like I would say 1 or 2 weeks each you can get done with them. But if you are a student who's studying full time or you're on leaves, I would say like Markov you can get done with in a week as well if you're on leaves or you're a student. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
try to give you like estimates by unit. Let me think about that more, and let me also discuss with Paras because he's written this exam very recently. So yeah, I'll get that estimate to you.
Sure, thank you. And one last question. Any tips, how to build study habit for working professionals? I'm really struggling with that actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Sumit, please. I also need that.
Yeah. See, the point is, let me first give you a negative outlook on that. That is the real challenge of this profession, right? It's not passing these exams. Passing these exams is not that difficult if you are a student, right? Once you start working, other professionals basically have you know their weekends to themselves. They own their weekends, right? So even if they're working on weekdays, on weekends they can chill, they can go out and party, they can do whatever makes them happy, right? But actual students, at least for the first 4 or 5 years of their careers, their weekends are already gone to the exams. And it's not only weekends, sometimes it's part of weekdays as well. uh, what I would say really helps people is one, remember that there is bonus at the end of every exam. For most employers, do pay, like those incentives are fine. And remember that you started this profession to end it, like to complete it and get, like, see through it till fellowship, right? And that is only when the real rewards of actuarial science come in, right? In terms of the quality of work you get, in terms of the kind of pay that you get, all of it really works out well once you're an associate or a fellow, right? So keep that motivation in your mind and make a fixed schedule. I know I'm giving those generic tips, but that's how I think it's supposed to be. You're supposed to plan out your weekends, plan out a chapter, set targets, allocate a couple of hours on your weekend, and don't leave the pace on weekdays as well. I would say even if you can take like 1 hour out or 1.5 hour out on a weekday, what you can do is you can sit down with the material and just solve a couple of questions. What you can do is you can do the theory on weekends, cover a lot of things on weekends, and then target it like over the next week. In the weekdays, what I'll do is I'll not read anything new, but every day I'll solve 2 or 3 questions, right? So that like keeps your momentum and keeps your pace. I think that should really help. Otherwise, Paras can help. He's a working professional who's preparing for exams. Paras, any tips?
I would say like the exam is in April, right? So if you can give like 2 hours or 1.5 hours a day, like it will be really easy for you. And about that pacing, yeah, there should be a habit. Like if there should be not like we are only studying on weekends or something like that. Then the concepts will not are not going to be that clear, And it should be a daily thing, not just on weekend. Yeah.
I agree to that. I think you can like do the majority of your study in weekends and just solve questions on weekdays. That really helps because absorbing a new concept might be like time consuming and mental space consuming, but I mean, we are professionals who solve problems, right? So we can give like 1.5 hour of our weekdays as well to exam questions solving. So that way, over a week, what you can do is you can plan your study, like the coverage of the theory and some questions over the weekend, and a majority of questions can be spreaded out across weekdays. So you have 5 weekdays, you would give 1.5 hour, you should easily be able to solve like I would say 15 or 20 questions over the week, which is good, which keeps your momentum as well. There's
it's
a continuity.
More than enough. It's more than enough.
Yeah, that keeps continuity. Right.
That does help. Thank you.
Yeah. What else, guys? That's it. So let's get this exam done this time, okay? Like all of you really, optimistically target it. Tell us whatever help is needed from our side, right? And let's just get this done. These exams are not difficult to pass. Come on, there's like a 40% pass percent. This time I know it was slightly lower, and I know, but even 30-40% is very high. Anyone who works hard can do it, right? So yeah, I would say let's just try to work hard and let's just have a systematic strategy and not study just at the last moment, right? Okay, those are my parting word of advice for now. Okay, and then we can discuss separately for specific questions that you guys have, if there aren't any right now.
If I have doubts from any external source, can I ask it on the group as well?
You mean coaching institute materials, right? You can.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But again, I would say first, let's please focus on past exam questions of IFOA rather than looking through 5 different coaching or whatever different coaching materials. Problem, I'll tell you. Problem is, see, the best representation of an IFOA exam is a past IFOA exam itself, right? IFOA designs its exam in a certain way. Now, sometimes what happens with coaching institutes is they would take questions from different sources. They would take some II questions, they would take some Australian Society exam questions, and all of those things they'll collate, right? So that is something they do, and which are not an adequate representation of IFO exam questions. So first priority should be to get done with IFO exam questions and then move on to anything else, right? Apart from that, I've seen a lot of times coaching institute materials have wrong answers, right? And they also don't help you build your approach on how to write out the answer, because you see revision notes, there's a detailed answer written right in the revision note, so you can see like what are the steps that I need to show, how to think about this question, right? And not just the final answer. So I feel that is more useful. But sure, I mean, you can ask your doubts. I don't mind answering doubts from anywhere. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Regarding how to answer an exam, I think, please correct me if I'm wrong. So when you write an exam in paper A in Word, you can skip certain level steps. So suppose if I write an equation and just I need to solve it like, mathematically or in a calculator, then I'll just write like next, like one step is in the middle and the last one is the exam or something, the last
That's
answer.
correct.
So that approach is acceptable, right?
Yeah, that's correct. What you can do to get a better idea is look at examiner's report from past exams of IFO. They specifically mention like what step carries out how much mark and what steps do not carry marks. They specifically mention that, so you can take inspiration from there.
Okay, great. I'll look at that. Sure. Thanks.
Okay. What else, guys? All right. If you don't have any more questions, feel free to drop off. Paras, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I will be doing a one-on-one session with everyone, like on weekends most probably. So, like you can suggest me like if you are like comfortable with a weekly session or maybe a session in 2 weeks. So that depends. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
Paras, I think there are too many students here. We have like 25 students. So I think doing weekly with everyone, like doing 25 sessions on a week would be close to impossible for you. And some students might not be available on a certain week. I would say you can just ask them one that who wants a session and you specifically do with those. And also for others, you can do like bi-weekly. You can do it in 15 days. And don't do 1 hour, do like 30 minutes. And if more is
Yeah,
needed,
like
give more time.
not 1 hour, not 1 hour.
Yeah. If more is needed, give more time. That's fine. But yeah, I would say do it as per need. Yeah. And yeah, do it
Right.
once 15 days. I think that's fine. Doing every week is too much. Like from your side as well, and the students' progress, since most of them are working, might not have been a lot like between every week.
Yeah, I think that will be good for the students that are preparing for the first time.
Yeah, for the first timers, you can do more regularly.
Can I suggest something, Paras, if it's convenient for you? What maybe you can do is, ask like simply a message like how much progress has the person make, and it helps to build accountability. Like okay, and you can guide them. Okay,
Right.
you are spending too much time on this chapter because the first time I was writing, I was spending too much time on Markov jump process. Like literally spent like 3 weeks on that to just to get it perfect. And over the time, when I move to next chapters, I realize that it automatically get clarified. So I don't need to,
Right, right.
perfect the concept sometimes. And there are other chapters also like easier chapters, which you don't get it the first time when you read the concept, but as you solve the questions, you understand it better. So having some like a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever convenient to you, you can just ask like, okay, how much progress have you made? Or we can do it in the group also. If everyone is comfortable, you can ask like, what progress has everyone made? And you can just comment like, okay, it's good, better, or you need to work hard, something like that.
I
Okay.
agree,
Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah.
You can do like text messages first and then do a session one-on-one with people who need it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Feel free to drop off if you don't have any questions.
Thanks, Romit sir, for the session, and thanks, Paras. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks,
you, everyone.
Romit and Paras.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
so
bye.
much. Sir.
Paras.
सर एक्चुअली मैं बाहर था मैं
अच्छा बाहर थे तुम? यार समय बता,
भूल
बात हुई थी हमारी
गया
यार, क्या करते
अरे
हो तुम?
मैं भूल
चलो
भूल
कोई
गया था
बात नहीं,
मीटिंग
वो तो ठीक हैंडल हो गया, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
मैं अभी बस 2 मिनट पहले ही घर पे आया हूँ